of nothing. And I just wonder whether he was onside. When the ball broke back to him there, it almost happened too quickly for the linesman. But the flag stayed down. Carrillo kept his composure. And what a happy sight that was for him at the end of that run. Aloisio was up with him. And he was hoping, I think, that the ball was squared across. But you couldn't deny Carrillo the goal. 1-0. A perfect start for the team to the match so far. Giovanelli, who's more of a strolling player, has gone across to take the corner. He's the dead ball specialist, takes the corners and the penalties. Benetti's in there, and it's in! And it's Scarafoni! Well, this is remarkable. Ascoli, 2 goals inside the opening 15 minutes. And Scarafoni ends a personal drought in the Italian First Division. 16 matches without a goal after a blistering start to the campaign, and this will mean a great deal to him. Enjoying here, their supporters who have made the journey will be wondering whether they'll be able to pick things up in the second half, but it's been a listless performance. So Nobile takes the free kick. And hoofs it in again. Serena's going for this one. And Perry! Now that's really made a match of it for Inter. With half-time approaching, and Riccardo Ferri, who was involved in Inter's winner last week against Pisa with a shot that was deflected, but that went in straight and true into the top corner from a real hopeful punt from Nobile, but Serena's jump distracted the markers. Ferri was free, and that's 2-1. And that's rather put a dampener on Ascoli's first half. We start our roundup in Florence, where Fiorentina, hardly great goal grabbers this season, had a first half to remember against Cesena. Sergio Battistini with the opening goal after 13 minutes. The route past the Cesena defence for number 2 began deep in the Fiorentina half, with the home side given room to pick their passes. Eventually, Bosco's cross not cleared properly, and Ramon Diaz bulging the net with a splendid volley. Only a 5th goal for the gifted Argentine this season. Bianchi struck 2 last week for Cesena, and that confidence showed when facing the goal set up by Lorenzo, Bianchi really letting fly. Roberto Bagio, number 10 for Fiorentina, a midfield player with a touch of arrogance. And he was very involved in this attack, which ended with Di Chiara's run and shot. Fiorentina's 3rd goal now, and a touch of luck about it. Battistini's free kick deflected in. 3-0 in the 33rd minute. No way back for Cesena in the second half, but they played with pride when a real humiliation was possible. Sanguine warming the hands of the Fiorentina goalkeeper Landucci. Landucci indeed was beaten 2 minutes into the second half. The build-up on the left and the ball turned in by Lorenzo. But Fiorentina now 5 games unbeaten after a dismal run at the turn of the year. Juventus, though, had only 2 wins in their last 12 games, and when Lucarelli cleared superbly off the line from Ian Rush, it looked as though their luck might be out again at home to Pisa. Dolcetti's long-range drive certainly troubled Sacconi, but it was Juventus who struck first. This free kick touched off to De Agostini, who shot zipped past Nista. Pisa, though, hit back 5 minutes later, an excellent goal. Dolcetti and Cavallo built up the move. Bernazzani, all alone, gobbled up the chance. Juventus, though, won the game with Tricella's pump pass into the goal mouth, floating over friend and foe. A freak goal 20 minutes into the second half. Tricella's first goal for 5.5 years. Alessio, on as a substitute, didn't enjoy the same good fortune when he let fly. Nor did Sergio Brio, whose header past Nista was ruled out for pushing. Juventus very much on top now. Almost another long-range goal. Nista's punch, Cabrini with a reply that flashed across the face of the Pisa goal. Ian Rush isn't the typical British striker in the air, but still Juventus keep trying to feed him that way, and Rush is gamely doing his best. The series of home wins continued with Milan too strong for Pescara, boosted by a second-minute eye-catching opening goal. Daniel Massaro acrobatically meeting Ruud Gullit's free kick. Pescara's best chance came here with Galvani looping his shot over Galli, but off target. Gullit, as usual, kept the crowd's concentration with a succession of free kicks. Blas Sliskovic opening up Milan here, but Galli out bravely at the feet of Gaudenzi. The second half, 2 minutes old now. Evani sending Gullit through. The goal brilliantly taken. And even Zinetti, the beaten goalkeeper, appreciated the expertise of the Dutch star. Certainly worth a second look. A great pass. And an arrogant finish. 2-0 to Milan. It could have been many more, Bortolazzi failing to add to the score, so too did Tassotti, and even Gullit had to settle for his 1 goal, but it was one that will be long remembered. After 2 games without a win, a home fixture against third from bottom Como, a perfect way for Napoli and Diego Maradona to return to the victory path. Maradona's corner and the opening goal on its way. Romano's shot flicked on and in by Careca. Excellent opportunism. 1-0, 10 minutes gone. Como did make a fight of the game. Mattei with a dangerous cross shot. Then Garella called into action from Notari Stefano's free kick. Salvatore Bagni on a burst through the middle, but no was the answer to his penalty appeal. Maradona taking centre stage again, though he couldn't add to his 12 goals this season. But he did pave the way for Fernando De Napoli to wallop in Napoli's second 2 minutes before half-time. Como with only 14 goals all season, not likely to come back. With Panizzi not too far away there. And really in the second half it was a question of how many Napoli would score. De Napoli spurning a shot here, but Careca showed no shyness when the chance came for his 11th goal of the season. He's now only 1 behind Maradona. 3-0 to Napoli. Despite the occasional Como burst, that's the way it stayed. Dan Corneliusson couldn't quite reach an interesting cross here from Notari Stefano. But even though there were no more goals to enjoy, there was still Maradona. He rarely fails to entertain. How about this? Trying the 1-2 with Carnevale. And then, almost setting the seal on an emphatic Napoli victory, this perfect, except in the finish, more mesmerizing, more magic. 3-0 to Napoli. Empoli have been scrapping for their first division lives recently, a tough task away to Roma, and Paolo Baldieri, a Roma product, serving notice of Empoli's intention. Roma, 9 games unbeaten, Giannini well placed here but wide, and then Policano, scorer of last week's winner at Como, unable to trouble the goalkeeper. Fulvio Colavati also closed in a spell of intense Roma pressure. Johnny Ekstrom, always a threat for Empoli, testing Tancredi after good approach play by Tucci. Roma still searching for a way through, but this scramble led to nothing, with Agostini's tumble not impressing the referee. The one Roma goal came 5 minutes into the second half, well taken by Giannini, his 8th of the season. He's Roma's top scorer. But Empoli almost level here, Ekstrom centre and Incocciati not controlling his header. Baldieri also very keen to make an impression on a ground he knows well. Sibi Boniek came on as a late substitute, away here with Drago crazily out of his goal. Pruzzo met the cross firmly. Vertova came to the rescue for Empoli, and Drago in particular. At 1-0, always a chance for Empoli, but Odi's tackle on Mazzari ruled fair. The Roma crowd, needing a second goal to settle their nerves, weren't too impressed by Boniek's over-elaboration. But still, Roma got their 4th successive win. Like Empoli, next to bottom Avellino also had a mountainous task away to Sampdoria, who made all the running in Genoa. Di Leo grasping Cerezo's header. Walter Schackner, never frightened of the responsibility of shooting, not one of his better efforts this time. Most of the action at the other end in a goalless first half. Amodio kicking clear from Manini. The home crowd still waiting into the second half for the eventual breakthrough. And the Mancini-Vialli double act couldn't provide it this time. This was Avellino's fleeting opportunity for a shock victory. Peroni's cross, and Schackner couldn't quite connect properly. Immediately, Sampdoria let fly with both barrels. First of all, a fine goal by Salsimo, 1-0 after 63 minutes. 5 minutes later, an equally deadly strike by Bjerkevud, the defender, with the excellent tally of 5 goals this season. So Avellino going down to their 11th defeat. Bocca Fresca lacking support in this attack, typical of Avellino's season. So we brought you 7 matches and 7 home wins. The odd one out, Torino at Verona, who were dispirited perhaps by their UEFA Cup exit. But Torino goalkeeper Laurieri had to make an excellent save from Bonetti. With 8 minutes gone, Torino went into the lead. Verona in confusion, and Rossi allowed to score with a near-post header. And it was another header by Crippa off his own line which protected that lead and kept Torino afloat. The ball played back in again, and from the skirmish, the shooting chance falling to Di Gennaro. But mostly Verona were restricted to long-range efforts, this one by their sweeper Solda. On to the second half, and Solda getting involved again in Verona's attacking. But in the 48th minute, it was 2-0 to Torino. A sweeping move, Berggren to Sabato, and a deep cross purposefully met by Gritti. Only a brilliant save by Giuliani stopped Berggren, making it 3-0. Torino have really developed this season, only 1 defeat in 12 games now, and for all Verona's enthusiasm here, Iachini missing the chance finally, Torino winners by 2-0. A remarkable week for the Italian First Division, not one drawn game. The top 4 all winners, and Torino joining Inter on 24 points, with Inter and Verona, the 2 losers in the leading 8 clubs. 7 rounds of the championship left, remember. In the lower reaches, Fiorentina exchanged places with Cesena after beating them, but the significant movement comes from Ascoli. a 2-point cushion now from the relegation area. And next week, Ascoli are away to Pisa. It's hotting up too in the scoring chance, with Ruud Gullit and Giuseppe Giannini both notching their 8th goal of the season. And Diego Maradona's lead under threat from a Napoli. Only time will tell, but it looks like a point. And Avellino are very close to the point. In fact, they've got it, that they will regard as vital to their cause. What it will mean to Milan, only time will tell, but it looks like a point lost. Cesena is where we start our roundup. Juventus, the visitors, with only one away win under their belts all season, and Lorenzo almost adding to their troubles on their travels. Ian Rush here trying to put Michael Laudrup through. Both foreigners finding it hard going this season in a struggling team. And Rush just beaten here to Laudrup's cross. Cesena more direct in this attack. Lorenzo with a really clean strike from distance. For Juventus, De Agostini followed that example, a flashing cross shot, and it brought out the best in goalkeeper Rossi. The closest to a goal on the stroke of half-time, splendid work by Armanise, desperately unlucky. Into the second half, referee Pezzella unimpressed by Cesena claims for a penalty when Coutone seemed to be pushed to the ground. Juventus might have ended their barren away run, but from Tricello's cross, Rush couldn't direct his header on target. Desperate times for Empoli and for Como. Como 5 games without a goal, Empoli 3, and their failings evident for most of the first half. Dan Corneliusson, Como's one really menacing marksman, forcing a way through here, but Drago blocking bravely at the feet of the Swedish international. Como lucky this time, Paradisi missing his punch, Invernizzi the saviour on the line from Incocciati. More Empoli pressure, and this time the shooting chance for Pasciullo, but way over the top. Como again relying on Corneliusson. Drago, though, again coming out on top in that particular duel. Right on half-time, the Empoli breakthrough. Calonacci glancing in Zanoncelli's corner. Into the second half, here's Johnny Ekström, the other Swedish striker, but a weak attempt from him this time. Como responded to their half-time team talk, particularly Giunta, who first of all hit the post, and then it was the crossbar which foiled the Como striker. And 15 minutes from time, Como's surprising revival brought them level. Invernizzi gets the ball across the goal, then Corneliusson's shot hits the post, and Viviani bungled in the rebound. Empoli could only reflect on their wasted moments. Ekström's header saved here, and then another late rally ended in disappointment for the bottom club. Empoli 1, Como 1. Inter and Roma produced a classic encounter in the San Siro Stadium, which proved again how early goals so often trigger off the best games. Bergami giving a taste of things to come. And when Massimo Ciocci, deputising for Aldo Serena, fell theatrically under challenge from Tempestili, only 13 minutes gone, Alessandro Altobelli's penalty crept past Franco Tancredi. Only 4 minutes later, and a shot really from the top draw, a tremendous goal from Bergami. 2-0 to Inter. It was almost 3 here. Minardo threatening Roma. Tancredi with some courageous goalkeeping. Only a short reprieve, though, because the 20-year-old Ciocci reduced the Roma defence to rubble with a brilliant goal. Astonishingly, Inter 3-0 up after half an hour against a team unbeaten in their previous 10 league games. Referee Luigi Agnolin then sparked off a partial Roma recovery, proving that Nobile had pushed Desideri. Giuseppe Giannini placed the penalty accurately past Zenga for his 9th goal of the season. 3-1, and the goal produced a hostile reaction from the crowd. Right on half-time, Roma struck again. Desideri's shot from the free kick, deflecting in off Bergami. 5 goals in the first half, only 1 in the second, and it made sure of Inter's victory. Ciocci completing an unforgettable personal day. Roma beaten for only the 4th time this season. Sampdoria are still in the hunt for a place in next season's UEFA Cup, and Fiorentina soon face-to-face with the menace of Gianluca Vialli. Landucci keeping Italy's most vibrant homegrown striker at bay. Glenn Hussein did get the ball into the Sampdoria net, but his effort disallowed for pushing. Fiorentina had taken 7 points from their previous 5 games. They might have continued that run when Bosco found Onorati, but the chance was wasted. And after 57 minutes, fouled by Calisti, blocking Vialli's run unfairly, penalty. And Bonomi's precision from the spot just beat Landucci's dive. Sampdoria not really at their best. Cerezo wasting possession there. And Vialli's own crusade didn't bring any real personal glory. Fiorentina's last strike at goal from Baggio's blast, deflected to safety by Luca Pellegrini. 1-0 to Sampdoria. Leaders Napoli were away to Torino, who again showed their recently acquired substance. Torino might have scored at the end of this neat move. From Crippa's cross, Berggren producing power but not direction. But mostly the match was as flat as the ball became here, with Maradona seeing the funny side of it all. The Maradona-Careca combination looking dangerous with the replacement ball, but Torino had the better of the first half. A cross from Crippa, an excellent strike from Tony Polster, just wide. Napoli really being tested out in the air, this time Benedetti heading over the top. And coming up, another headed effort, and a useful one too from Gritti, who had Garella scrambling. The second half was very disappointing, a semblance of a chance here for Careca from Comi's weak header. But Napoli moving 1 point nearer retaining their title. News of the 2 other matches: Gasparini scored twice in Pescara's 3-0 demolition of Verona, and Michelli had an extraordinary game at Pisa. His own goal gave Pisa the lead, but Michelli himself equalised for Ascoli 17 minutes from time. Out against Roma, but it's spectacular stuff now from Maradona. And sized down by Nobile after the first attempt by Baresi, which was more within the legal framework of the game. It was unfortunate for Baresi. He got the ball but couldn't get it away, and then Nobile had to come in. And this is in Maradona country. It's going to be an interesting duel in this match between Walter Zenga trying to keep the Napoli captain at bay. Well, Maradona is setting his wall. That's the wall of light blue in front of Inter's own line of defending. Zenga on his toes. And he's stopping! Gestures there that told the story. The twists and turns of delight from the scorer, and the shrug which said, "What can I do?" from the goalkeeper. Well, on that occasion, nothing. And again, If he looks for concern from his teammates, he's not getting it. And all he can hear is this almost deafening sound of Napoli celebration. 21 minutes gone, Maradona's 13th of the season, and really this is his trademark. Just skimming the wall, the goalkeeper probably unsighted. Our camera on the ground, the neat close control that he has got, and this is terrain around the back. Semi-final second, Maradona and Napoli is 2 more points. Our roundup starts at Como, a real relegation dogfight against Avellino, with Dan Corneliusson, the former Swedish international, trying to improve on Como's dismal record of only 4 goals in their last 14 games. Mattei was the next to strike out for Como, a useful volley matched by Di Leo's save. Very wet conditions up in the north of Italy. Giunta at least had a soft landing after his spectacular attempt for Como in the second half. Como had dominated the game, but yet could have lost it. Walter Schachner, more evident for Avellino now. And from his corner, Benedetti's splendid header, but the goal ruled out for a foul off the ball by Grasso. Another splendid pass here from Schachner, and Bocca Fresca guilty of a bad miss. So 0-0, but no surprise from 2 very low-scoring teams. It was a similar story in the Tuscany derby between Fiorentina and Pisa. Pisa have a good defensive record, but they can't put away the half chances. It was Cecconi who was wide this time. Stanis Eriksson, Fiorentina's coach, didn't include his Argentinian star Ramon Diaz. His replacement, Rebonato, strove hard for a goal, which might mean a regular run in the side. Fiorentina have a good home record. Only Inter have won here this season, but only 22 goals scored in 25 games overall tells its own story. Pisa were always going to be happy with 1 point, and they earned it in the end without too many difficulties. Milan, though, were stretched by bottom-of-the-table Empoli. Cookie, with a good chance, back on the ground he knows so well from his time with Inter. Milan should have scored here. Drago in trouble from an excellent Ebani cross, but Donadoni dragged his shot wide of an inviting goal. All Milan now. Angelo Colombo applying the pressure, but in the end the chance coming to Ebani on his weaker foot. Ebani's corner. Galli with the first header, Donadoni too high with the second. In the second half, a sighted goal for Ruud Gullit, but not a clean contact with the low cross. No Johnny Ekstrom for Empoli, injured playing for Sweden, but Cookie could have made Empoli forget their star absentee. What a weak finish. Nothing weak, though, about Marco van Basten's comeback, a truly memorable match-winning goal after almost 6 months out with injury. Van Basten played the second half as a substitute for Virdis. Roma in third place were defending an unbeaten home record against fourth-place Sampdoria. Franco Tancredi defending the Roma goal by punching clear. For Roma, Desideri is always willing to chance his luck from long range. Wide that time. A better effort coming up, and Viscazzoni at full stretch to save, and a suspicion of a penalty about what happened next. Midway through the second half, a clever pass by Bonomi. Gianluca Vialli equally adept in beating Tancredi. Sampdoria celebrating taking the lead, Vialli's 8th goal of the season. Bruno Conti striving for an equaliser. But Sampdoria struck again. Cerezo this time finding Vialli, a blatant penalty as Vialli pulled down by Tancredi. Bonomi has solved the penalty problem for Sampdoria, his 4th successful kick in a row. Torino against Pescara produced an interesting match, plenty of goalmouth action, typified here with Sliskovic unable to finish off Camplone's cross. An even better chance now, provided by Pagano, again for Pescara's Yugoslav international Sliskovic, and a real let-off for Torino. Pescara goalkeeper Zinetti then played his side into trouble, a poor goal kick, finding only Crippa of Torino. Rossi getting in the cross. Tony Polster frustrated again, coming into this match 12 games without a goal. At the start of the second half, Polster's anxieties showing through once more. Gritty's intended pass infield intercepted. Polster in turn cutting off the back pass, but the Austrians still couldn't score. Berlingueri, a second-half substitute for Pescara, was more convincing in front of goal, but a good save by Laurieri. But in the 52nd minute, Crippa and then Comey built up this attack, which took Torino into the lead. Poor defending by Pescara, Klaus Bergren pouncing by the far post. Pescara had one sharp chance to equalise, Sliskovic picking out Gasparini before Torino made sure of 2 more points. And at last, relief for Tony Polster, his first goal for more than 4 months. Torino's recent record so impressive, only 1 defeat in 14 matches now, and goalkeeper Laurieri is playing his part to the full. Verona have nosedived since their exit from the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup against Cesena, a 3rd consecutive league defeat and a 3rd match in which they failed to score a goal. Cesena might have taken the lead in this move, Sanguine involved, then Bianchi forcing Giuliani into a splendid save. But the breakthrough soon followed, 11 minutes before half-time, Rizzitelli in the clear and scoring in style. Di Bartolome's free kick, Giuliani venturing off his line uncertainly, and only Verona's cover prevented Bourdin making it 2-0. Verona huffed and puffed in the second half, but most of their shots, like this one from Bonetti, were from long range. Trevor Elkier has gone 3 months without scoring, and he was unlucky again here. One black mark against Cesena, Di Bartolome given a red card, and also Di Gennaro of Verona to his evident disbelief. And Di Bartolome later spoke out in Di Gennaro's defence, saying it was a case of mistaken identity, that Gallia should have been the Verona player sent off. All in all, a very difficult day for Verona. The final result, Ascoli 1, Juventus 1. Giovanelli's 20-metre drive gave Ascoli an 8th-minute lead. Ian Rush equalised, his 5th goal of the season. Ascoli, like the 3 clubs beneath them, with 1 point to show from their weekend's work. Empoli, crippled by that 5-point penalty, really need to win at least 3 of their last 5 games to stand any chance of avoiding relegation. At the top, Napoli still with that 4-point cushion over Milan. Sampdoria right on Roma's shoulder now. Inter's defeat in our featured game cost them 5th place, which at the moment belongs to Torino. Next week it's Juventus-Napoli, Roma-Milan. Finally, a check on the leading scorers. Maradona, 2 goals ahead of his teammate Careca, thanks to another of his party piece free kicks. But tonight, the Argentine... Mancini felt he was pushed. Brio is well forward. Cabrini's in there as well. Cabrini got there! Juventus from the corner. It came short of Brio, but Cabrini got up the highest. And the defender with the knack for scoring goals has served Juventus well again. Well, Napoli... Messi really imposing their will on the game. Something jittery happens amongst their defenders. and Juventus have come close. And as they press forward again, it's De Agostini, and it's Rush! And that really all stemmed from Ferrario's original error. De Agostini got the ball back from the throw that had to be conceded. And look at Rush's positioning here. He tucked away from Ferrara, who's been dogging his footsteps. 2-0. And Ian Rush has waited a long time for a flow of goals. Well, he's now scored in 2 games running for Juventus. And those who haven't believed are starting to believe about him here. Ferrario's having a torrid time at the moment. And here's Rush. For Laudrup. Oh, he's caught now. He avoided the first challenge by Renica, but not the second by Ferrara. And Garella wants to know why he gave away the penalty. He doesn't turn to the referee to protest because he knows the decision is a correct one. Renica pulled out of bringing him down, but Ferrara launched himself. A cast iron, copper bottom penalty. It's going to be Luigi De Agostini, and this really, one would think, for the match. He scores! 3-0. It took some nerve, but De Agostini had it. Garella left powerless. Set the wrong way. A third goal, which will surely mean a third defeat this season for Napoli. But what happened here? Cabrini must have been sent off. It ended with a handshake with the referee. Now remember, he's already been booked. So, in a moment of real triumph, some of the jubilation is marred for Juventus. The captain has gone, having... Or will it be Renica this time? Yes. And Tacconi was there again. Oh, that's superb by Maradona. He's bewitching them again. And touched in by Careca, 3-1. Even in the utmost adversity, the magic of Maradona is still there. This, in the end, turned out to be unstoppable. And Careca finished it off, ironically nudging a goal nearer Maradona in the leading scorers race in the championship. 13-12 in Maradona's favour. Michael Laudrup is replaced by Gaetano Chirea. 35 years old next month, 78 caps for Italy, and involved in... So the first task in our roundup is, of course, to check immediately on Milan, whose task away to Roma was a tricky one, yet Pietro Paolo Virdis headed them into the lead in the Olympic Stadium after 25 minutes. Only the 7th goal for him this season, but what an important one. Giannini might have equalised for Roma, but too slow when well placed. Donadoni might have stretched the Milan advantage, dragging his cross shot wide. But more Roma pressure followed. Foller to Pollicano, but a deflection helps out Milan. Then Pollicano found Giannini, who blazed away off target. Into the second half, and Desideri's forceful run for Roma, still chasing the equaliser. And referee Piretto brushed aside Roma claims for a penalty. Milan's attack, sporadic but still skillful, Virdis chipping over Tancredi, but not under the bar. An extraordinary miss coming up by Roberto Pruzzo. Domini returning Voller's cross, and Pruzzo on to Giannini, failing to connect. Milan brought on Daniele Massaro for Donadoni, and he too failed when well placed and after doing all the hard work too. But for Massaro, unlike Pruzzo, there was a second chance, 5 minutes from time, and he took it expertly. And given Napoli's defeat, it was a great day for Milan. Ascoli's recent stubborn streak almost brought them victory over Sampdoria, but it took a double save by Pazzagli from Vierkabud and then Mancini to stave off early disaster. Ascoli varying their corner technique here, and Sampdoria caught out Destro's effort against the bar. 40 minutes into the second half, Ascoli did even better. A wonderful jump by Scarafoni, his 7th goal of the season. But Sampdoria's substitute, Branca and Saltano on the ball here, sparked a recovery which saw Vialli hit a post. Walter Casagrande, as usual, contributed some Brazilian extravagance, but his overhead kick off the mark. But from Branca's cross, Vialli showed he could do better, but still Sampdoria are trailing. It stayed that way until 3 minutes from the end, then Hans-Peter Briegel chipped in and Branca got the reward for his lively performance after being summoned from the bench. Avellino needed victory against Pescara to boost their chances of staying up, and a 7th-minute goal certainly helped. A strange goal too, credited to Colantuono, with number 4 Grasso distracting goalkeeper Zinetti. Not content with that, following Bertoni's shot, it was Colantuono again close to making it 2-0. But after only 19 minutes, the loss of Benedetti was a disappointment for Avellino. Even so, Gattaneo and Schachner combined to give Grasso a chance to really tighten their grip on the game. And that looked a costly miss when Berlingueri bobbled the ball past Di Leo's dive. Pescara level after 27 minutes. In the second half, Di Leo did better from Junior's free kick and Marchegiani's follow-up attempt. The later stages brought double frustration for Francioso, the Avellino substitute. He really should have scored with this header. And a second header brought much better contact, only for the ball to bounce down and up over the bar. Against Cesena, Como made more profitable use of home advantage. A measured cross by Invernizzi and Giunta's head diverting the ball past Rossi. Rizzitelli, always dangerous for Cesena. He was their most potent forward throughout. But Como seemed determined to overcome their usual shyness in front of goal. Viviani with that useful effort. And then Mattei seeking to add to their lead. In the second half, 2 more openings, both for Giunta, a real miskick there, and the second time a brave piece of goalkeeping by Rossi, frustrating Giunta again. There were only occasional problems for Como goalkeeper Paradisi. Cesena were kept out, and Como did score again through Borgonovo. Unfortunately, a camera fault prevents us from showing it to you. Ironically, only the 3rd time this season Como scored more than 1 goal. Empoli, the team that has to win its matches now against Torino, who'd lost only 1 of their previous 14. And from the moment Incocciati shot over, Empoli made most of the running. A rare Torino breakout, but Tony Polstra is still seeking the old ruthless touch in his finishing. Torino were grateful for some composed defending by Corradini, calmly bringing some order to end this Empoli attack. Cookie played in a telling cross. Corradini again dealt with the danger. Still Empoli thrusting forward, but appeals for a foul by Crippa dismissed by referee Paolo Casarin. Torino relied on their teamwork, their organisation, as well as goalkeeper Laurieri, who saved here from Pasciullo. In the second half, Ben Fari was given his debut by Empoli, giving Benedetti a real chasing. The foul awarded outside the area. A lot of effort for only 1 point for Empoli, and they nearly lost that when, for a moment, goalkeeper Drago lost his way, but then recovered. It looks unlikely that Empoli will recover. In the San Siro, Inter were strong favourites against Fiorentina, and almost a freak goal, Nobile's header here from all of 30 metres, very nearly finding the top corner. Fiorentina, the underdogs, were only robbed of the lead when a goal line clearance stopped Battistini's header going in. And suitably encouraged, Fiorentina played some pleasing football. Bagio to Pellegrini, and Walter Zenga really tested. Then Di Chiara was prepared to run at the Inter defence and almost got his reward. 2 minutes into the second half, though, the picture changed. It looked a foul on goalkeeper Landucci, but when Minardo tucked in the loose ball, the goal was given. Fiorentina took the blow and bounced back, particularly with Onorapi's stinging drive. The 2 late goals really knocked them out. Ciocci involved in both of them, making the first a rare strike by Piraccini. And then Ciocci again showed why he's preferred to Altobelli at the moment with a marvellous third. 3-0 to Inter. Pisa and Verona produced a draw with most of the attacking play of the individual nature. Brambati for the home side, and then Preben Elkier with a typical run, but his luck is still out at the moment. The next solo burst came from Marco Paccione, who also couldn't control his shot. 2 excellent saves by Giuliani before half-time, that one from Cecconi's free kick, then from a wider angle, Dunga, the Brazilian, still threatening. In the second half, Pisa will feel that they should have won the game. A real miss here by Piovanelli. And then a penalty appeal in which the speed of Cecconi's shot fooled referee Paparesta. We have the benefit denied to the referee of a look in slow motion. It certainly appears that Fontolan did handle. But in the record books, it's Pisa 0, Verona 0. Well, let's look first of all at the bottom of the table. Only Como's 4th win of the season. It takes them a point clear of Avellino, shoulder to shoulder now with Pisa. Next week, it's Avellino against Pisa, while Como are away to Torino. But the big story this weekend comes at the top. Napoli's lead cut back to 2 points, and the leaders meet in Naples in 2 weeks' time. Well, Juventus won't win the championship this year, but against Napoli, they've certainly had some influence on its destination. It was a reminder of the great days in Turin.
To go to the interval. Maldini on the run. Hullit and Giovanni Hullit. 1-0. Oh, Hullit goes to celebrate. Zenga goes to remonstrate. Celebrations for the Milan fans and their coach, Arrigo Sacchi, but Zenga was convinced that Hullit was offside. Hullit gets the first touch. Giovanni, no, he was played onside over near the linesman, and the shot into the roof of the net was valid. So that's 1-0, and we are 2 minutes from half-time. Hullit scores his 10th goal of the season. Giovanni Trapattoni had 10 years with Juventus and took them to 6 championships, finding life harder with Internazionale. Nothing positive at all here, and Virdis has been let in and gets as soft a goal as he could ever expect to score. 80th goal in the Italian Championship. Mistake was made, and after that, player with as much experience as Virdis wasn't going to let it go begging. Well, that's a soft goal, but it's put Milan 2-0 in front. 2 goals in the space of 10 minutes. And we start our roundup of all the other goals in Verona, where Diego Maradona's Napoli are the visitors. Here's the little man himself, usually dangerous from free kicks here, but not this time. But there's no stopping the little Argentine's left foot shot here. His 14th goal of the season. Now Verona threatened through Paccioni. Now Verona are let off, and Bagni shoots wide. They're frustrated, and Garella saves from a free kick. And when a corner eventually falls to Gallia. 1-0 to Napoli at half-time. Early in the second half, Bertolt tests Garella. But when Napoli at last mount another attack, Giuliani punches away what seems likely to be an own goal. Giacchini's shot paves the way for the equaliser Verona deserved, scored by Gallia. Maradona nearly puts Napoli ahead again, but the ball kicked clear by Giuliani. Paccioni nearly puts Verona ahead, but the ball slips past. Verza's corner almost provokes an own goal. And then some characteristic juggling by Maradona and an intervention by Careca set up yet another opening for Napoli. Giuliani's fingertips are enough. It ends Verona 1, Napoli 1. That reduces the gap to 1 point at the top. Avellino and Pisa, 2 teams in trouble at the bottom of the division, met at Avellino. The home side are unlucky when Peroni gets his head to Boccafresca's lovely chip into the box. The second half brings the breakthrough. Colombo's pass and a typically purposeful run and shot from Schaffner, the 31-year-old Austrian international. After that, 2 near misses apiece. For Pisa, substitute Giovanelli's header brings out a fine save from Delay. And it's Giovanelli again with a first-time shot, but wide. At the other end, Grasso, the Avellino substitute, sees Nizza save his shot. Then from a similar position, Grasso heads into the side netting. 1-0, 2 priceless points for Avellino. Empoli, even more in need of points in last place, are away to Cesena in the rain. The first minute of the second half, they fall behind to a fine goal by Rizzitelli. Bordin, with some lovely skill, comes close to making it 2-0 until Drago's legs intervene. Empoli strike back with a free kick from Infagiati, which Rossi turns over the bar. Another chance is well made, but squandered. Now Sanguin comes within inches of another goal for Cesena. When Empoli need a helping push from fortune, it comes in the shape of a deflection by Cotoni. Own goal, 1-1. Even now, though, Rossi has to make a marvellous save to protect the draw for Empoli. Empoli, incidentally, had 4 players cautioned. But the abiding memory is of Empoli's substitute, Calanacci, leaving the field on a stretcher after a collision with Ceramicola. Pelonacci heads for hospital, where he's expected to be kept for 10 days. Ascoli too are not safe, and they're away to Fiorentina. Rain falls throughout the game here also, keeping the attendance down to 18,000. This nice build-up ends with Bagio's shot being saved by Fazzari. When Delolio's attempt to set Ascoli on the attack goes astray here, he then fails to get back and challenge. Di Chiara's shot is beaten out by the goalkeeper. Good save. The pressure eventually pays off from this throw-in. Berti, number 4, finds Hussein, number 6, in the penalty area, hunting again. But it's Bagio who claims the goal. 19 minutes gone. Singing in the rain in Florence. Now look for the number 4, Berti again. Makes a good run here. Gets the pass he asks for, but shoots wide. Ascoli's best shot to date comes from Agostini, on after half an hour as a substitute. It's long range, and Landucci covers the ball safely. The visitors are more prominent in the second half. However, when Casagrande gets into range, he can't find the target. Casagrande is also involved in the move that gives Ascoli their best chance of the match. But Landucci makes a save. The second attempt flies across goal, with Scarafoni unable to make contact. 1-0 to Fiorentina. Sampdoria, who start the day in 4th place, are at home to Juventus. And it's Sampdoria who make the first significant attack. Bonomi's shot deflected for a corner. No reprieve, though, for Juventus when Cerezo gets into the penalty area and is brought down by Chichella. Signor Pezzella points dramatically to the spot, and Bonomi scores. Good penalty. The second goal is all down to economy and certainty of touch. Vialli demonstrates the finishing that has made him outstanding all season, and it's 2-0 after 40 minutes. But a minute before the interval, Juventus strike back. De Agostini does the hard work. Buzo gets the glory. Brio's pass gives Buzo another opportunity in the second half, but this time the finish is not so deadly. The break by Briegel raises Sampdoria's hopes of a 3-1 advantage, but Mancini is foiled by Taccone. Now we've been playing 91 minutes, and Chichella, number 6, finds Rush. The Welshman's header directs the ball carefully to Scirea, and the Juventus substitute salvages a last-second point. Meanwhile, back in Turin, Torino are first to threaten in their game with Como. The header is by Bresciani. The marksmanship is no better at the other end when Borgonovo finds himself in the clear. No joy either when Comey contrives a difficult chance for Grigi. Just on half-time, Como opened the scoring. Nothing classical about the approach play, a high ball into the penalty area, and when it seems that Junta, number 11, has been denied, he gets a second chance and makes it count. In torrential second-half rain, Torino equalised from the corner. Comey with the unstoppable header. Another Torino attack develops from this free kick, but the final effort, again from Comey, is as wet as the weather. Back on the edge of their own area. Torino seem to be in control until Lorenzini lets fly. Laurieri has to make a spectacular save. 1-1 is the final score, but the referee is unimpressed by penalty claims when Kripa goes down in the area. There was one other game between Pescara and Roma, a confrontation in the rain without goals. And with 3 matches remaining, this is how it looks at the bottom of the table. Empoli, who started the season with 5 points deducted, look doomed, but Pisa have 3 teams above them, only 1 point better off. At the top, Napoli now by 1 point only from AC Milan, and the teams meet in Naples next Sunday. If at the end of the season they're level on points, there'll be no decider on goal difference or goal average, there'll be a playoff. We'll leave you for this week with a look at the goals in the San Siro Stadium that brought about that situation.
المخالفة أكيدة لميلان وضربة حرة على بعد حوالي 25 متر من مرمى جاريلا. من يسدد هذا ندوني أم خالد؟
Ecco la parte finale di questo episodio con l'intervento irregolare che origina questo calcio di punizione in favore del Milan. Rivediamo ancora Ancelotti che viene fermato in maniera irregolare, era stato lanciato in contropiede dopo uno spunto di Careca. Punizione centrale, siamo un po' lontani, una 25 di metri.
والكرة في المرمى. الهدف الأول في المباراة.
ميلان in vantaggio con
الهدف الأول في المباراة من نصيب AC ميلان.
Nel primo tempo il Milan va in vantaggio con Virtus. Vediamo la punizione. Finisce sulla barriera, la palla poi arriva a Virdis pronto a girare di sinistro. Il tiro era stato diretto in porta, ma la barriera aveva in qualche modo arginato. Rivediamo ancora.
لاحظ الكرة تحولت من ضربة حرة ووصلت إلى فيرديس الذي سبق المدافع فيرارا وسبق الحارس جاريلا وحول الكرة في شبكة نابولي محرزا هدف السبت لإي سي ميلان خارج أرضه. إذا في الدقيقة 37 ميلان يتقدم بهدف لفيرديس.
ma non respinto, non
أذكر أن المباراة الأولى بين الفريقين أحسن هدف في الدوري. مارادونا رصيده 14 هدف. مارادونا لا يزال يتصدر الهدافين وكاريكا ينافس. لم تفيد وضربة حرة والمسافة ليست بعيدة حوالي 20 متر عن المرمى. وهذا هو اختصاص مارادونا الحقيقي. الوقت الأصلي للشوط الأول انتهى ويبقى أن نلعب حسب تقدير الحكم الإيطالي الدولي روزاريو دي بيلو للوقت بدل الضائع. طبعا لم يصب أحد في الشوط الأول، لم نشاهد الكثير من إيقاف اللاعب، لكن مثلا عندما أحرز الهدف عملية تبادل التهنئة بين اللاعبين هذه لها بعض ثواني يضيفها الحكم كوقت بدل ضائع، ولعل هذه هي الفرصة الأخيرة في الشوط الأول بالنسبة لمارادونا ونابولي. نشاهد هذه الكرة.
Momento importantissimo, posizione favorevole a Maradona per le sue punizioni. Ecco che sta prendendo la rincorsa, tende. Parte Maradona، جول، ha pareggiato Maradona.
أقول هذا غير معقول، هذا اللاعب هذا هو اختصاص مارادونا وهذا هو هدف التعادل في الوقت بدل الضائع من الشوط الأول بأسلوبه الفني الراقي. كرة إلى المقص تماما صعبة جدا على جالي والنتيجة تعود متعادلة من جديد باليسار عن يمين الحارس إلى المقص. كرة رائعة بالفعل والملعب يغلي حماسه الآن ومارادونا كذلك رصيده أصبح 15 هدف وبالتالي عزز صدارته في لائحة الهدافين. من حقك أن تفرح هدف لمارادونا ونابولي وهدف لفيرديس وميلان.
Di nuovo riportato la situazione in parità, una situazione per Gullit. 22 minuti e 15. Nel corso della ripresa sempre 1-1 fra Napoli e Milan.
حركة هذا اللاعب فيها الكثير من انسيابية ومرفوعة إلى داخل المنطقة في المرمى على الهدف الثاني. لابد بعد هذا الضغط أن يسجل ميلان. نعم يستحق بالفعل. كلا الفريقين يستحق هذا الهدف.
Il Milan è tornato in vantaggio ancora con Pietro Paolo Virdis. Rivediamo l'azione di Gullit.
لاحظوا خلص يرفع إلى رأس فيرديس تماما كما أحرز الهدف الأول. فيرديس يعود بفريقه ميلان إلى الصدارة في المباراة إلى المقدمة. لاحظتم أن خلص إن لم يسجل فإنه يصنع أهدافا. يقطع كرة موجودة تماما على رأس فيرديس والصورة ضاعت علينا لكن شاهدنا الهدف على الحال أكثر مرة في الدقيقة الثالثة والعشرين من الشوط الثاني، يعني في الدقيقة 63 من المباراة.
Galli sulla girata da parte Maradona in mezza rovesciata. Gullit replica subito il Milan.
يتخطى وينفرد ويضع الكرة لأن يسجل منها فيرديس الهدف الثالث. لاعب غير معقول. لا ماركو فان باستن هذا في الواقع. ماركو فان باستن الذي دخل قبل قليل لم يلاحق مكان من، ولكن ماركو فان باستن الهولندي زميل خلص في منتخب هولندا يتلقى منه هدية، وهدية ثمينة جدا في الواقع لميلان وأنصاره، الهدف الثالث. خلص أيضا يصنع الهدف. لاحظتم كيف صنع الهدف الثاني قبل قليل والآن يصنع الهدف الثالث. تمريرة عرضية متقنة لم يكن على ماركو فان باستن إلا أن يرسلها إلى الشبكة. إذا في الدقيقة 75 فان باستن تقريبا يرسم نهاية نابولي في هذه المباراة وربما في هذا الموسم وربما نهاية حقبة من سيطرة نابولي. ميلان في ثلاثة نابولي والحقيقة لم نشاهد يعني هجوما بالمعنى الصحيح من نابولي في الشوط الثاني. ميلان هاجم حتى سجل الهدف الثاني واكمل فسجل الثالث، والكره الان الى حلقه المرمى مرفوعه الى داخل الشبكه. كاريكا البرازيلي يحرز الهدف الثاني ويعيد نابولي الى المباراه. الهدف في الدقيقه 33 بعد دقيقتين فقط. كاريكا بالراس يحرز الهدف الثاني لنابولي ويعيد فريقه الى المباراة. مباراة بالتأكيد ممتعة، 5 أهداف شاهدنا حتى الآن ونأمل المزيد في الواقع خلال الدقائق القليلة المتبقية. كاريكا متميز بكرات رأسية، فهو يرفع رصيده إلى 13 هدفا. رفع رصيده إلى 13 هدف، الثاني على لائحة الهدافين بعد مارادونا. 12 دقيقة على النهاية.
Moving out to Di Chiara, who enjoys to run with the ball and takes on Ferrario. Oh, so Napoli's problems already considerable increase, and I just wonder about Garella here. More than wonder, in fact. I think any student of the game will tell you the goalkeeper was at fault. They shouldn't get beaten by their near post at an angle that was as tight as that, but it flew past Garella from Di Chiara. A great Dennis Eriksson, 40 years old, had 3 years with Roma. Oh, and as we looked at him, Hussein was also distracted, and that's a goal for Ferrara, and it's 1-1. And the coach, watching on, won't be too pleased with what he saw from a fellow countryman, Glenn Hussein. Well, that surely is one mistake for the season, normally unflappable in there, but the error punished by Ferrara. And not a smile, but surely internal feelings of satisfaction for Maradona. Oh, that's a super ball for Diaz! And Fiorentina has regained the lead. Through the goal from Diaz, but what about the pass? It certainly deceived Franchini right at the end of it, but it took others out of the game as well. And Diaz has recaptured his scoring touch on the big occasion with his old pal Diego Maradona watching in the stands. Well, that old friendship will be secondary to the disappointment for Napoli. Giordano comes on in play. Maybe an air of resignation creeping over Napoli now, and Fiorentina bursting forward again with Berti. Diaz is in the middle, it's 3-1. And that could be the end of it all for last year's champions. I think he actually put it in with the left knee or maybe the thigh. We'll see from this angle. But Berti's cross made it a formality. Sadness in the eyes. Well, the flopping done by Carica and Giordano. It's Giordano who'll shoot. Oh, and the goalkeeper's lost it. It's gone in off Renica. 3-2. Renica's goal. A mistake by Landucci, who really should have done better. The ball bounced awkwardly in front of the goalkeeper, and in fact he knocked it on to Renica, who knocked it in. Still time for Napoli, and it is all over. Napoli are beaten, and now we wait to hear the news from the San Siro Stadium as the Fiorentina fans indulge in their own end-of-home season celebrations. Maybe a little overstating it, because I think there's some trouble out there as well. And the referees being escorted to safety. The last we heard from Milan was that it was goalless there, and if that is the case, it does mean that we go to the last day of the season before the championship can be decided. There are some angry Napoli players out there. Anger, I'm sure, mixed and maybe caused by their disappointment at the way their season has fallen apart. They've been beaten here in Florence again, beaten 3-2 by Fiorentina. So with Napoli beaten, the news from Milan very significant, and we start our roundup at the San Siro Stadium, where Ruud Gullit paraded his trophy as European Footballer of last year. The championship trophy, though, more on Milan's minds, and Juventus were to be no pushovers. Only one genuine first-half chance for Milan, and Colombo failed to take it. Mauro with this free kick, still believing, it seems, that Ian Rush will become a force in the air. Gaetano Scirea made a rare reappearance for Juventus and marshalled the defence to keep Milan mostly at long range. After De Agostini tested Giovanni Galli in the first minute of the second half, it was mostly mass defending for Juventus. Tacconi made the save of the game from Gullit. And when Evani found room on the Milan left, Tacconi once more came to the aid of Juventus. Rush left upfield unsupported for most of the time, but he nearly sneaked in to give a twist to the drama. With Napoli losing, had Gullit scored here, it would have meant the championship. As it is, the drama goes on to the final week. Avellino had to beat Empoli to keep alive their chances of staying in the first division. Bertoni reflecting the hunt for goals. The most powerful strike of the first half, though, came from Empoli. Valdieri almost drilling a hole in goalkeeper Di Leo. When Empoli looked for offside, Walter Schachner not quite able to control the ball perfectly. And Drago able to come out to block the shot. Avellino's first substitution saw Di Mauro replace the injured Gazzaneo. The substitutes very quickly into the action, almost making the breakthrough here. 22-year-old Fabrizio Di Mauro, in his first season with Avellino, he's mostly been a substitute, and this is his first appearance for 3 months, but it will live long in his memory, because after 47 minutes, it was Di Mauro's splendid shot which won the match. Anastopoulos, the second substitute for Avellino, almost left his imprint on the game as well. In fact, Avellino should have won by more than Di Mauro's great goal. Boccafresca unable to round off his skillful run. But Avellino with hope, but Empoli definitely back in the second division. With their eyes on a UEFA Cup place from a high league placing, Inter needed some reward from their trip to Cesena. Bianchi wasting a promising position though for Cesena. This is Bergami, his cross. Clever dummy by Serena, not quite coming off for Altobelli, but Inter now into their stride, and after 42 minutes, they got a penalty. And Altobelli was the player fouled. And Alessandro Altobelli himself handed out the punishment, his 9th goal of the season. It was 2-0 in the 60th minute, with Aldo Serena's looping header catching out Cesena goalkeeper Rossi. And Inter were cruising until Cesena struck an inspired spell. Bourdin pulled it back to 2-1, following up his own header to nod the ball past Zenga. And 3 minutes later, Lorenzo's fall not impressing the referee, but Cesena feeling that justice was done when the ball ran Lorenzo's way. 2-2 now, and Inter furious with themselves. Might have been even worse, but for Zenga quickly responding to the danger from the in-rushing Rizzitelli. On to Pescara. They're virtually sure of retaining their first division status against Ascoli, whose doubts were more serious. Brazilians on both sides, and Pescara's junior setting out to win the battle of the free kick. But a handball on the edge of the Pescara area gave Ascoli a chance to show off their Brazilian dead ball expert, and Casagrande wasn't too far off the mark here. Pescara, though, had more of the first half play. Di Cara almost reaching Berlinghieri's knockdown, but reacting like the defender he is rather than a forward. More purposeful strike-at goal from this Pescara attack. Gasparini letting fly. Ascoli's wall not very convincing as Junior opened the second half with another free kick. Again, it was a case of goal-mouth action rather than goal. So this was an awkward moment for Casali. The better opportunities in the match came from free kicks. And referee Paolo Casarin blowing his whistle again here for obstruction by an Ascoli defender. This time Junior touching the ball off, and Pazzagli making an excellent save from Gasparini. It was a busy second half for the Ascoli goalkeeper, looking very competent here. Making a sound catch. But he wasn't quite so assured when he tried to fist away Junior's dipping drive. More Pescara pressure and a neatness in their build-up play, but Mancini not stretching the goalkeeper. 1 point certainly a help for Ascoli. 2 would have been an injustice, though Casagrande picked a way through and nearly won the game. But it finished Pescara 0, Ascoli 0. Pisa, another club in distress. They faced the daunting task away to Sampdoria, and the thrustful forward play of Gianluca Vialli was a problem, but he was looking for a penalty rather than a goal there. 0-0 at half-time, and Pisa provided some skillful play here with Achenda at the sharp end of it. Pari trying to pick up the tempo for Sampdoria, but the home side not at their best. Mancini working on the other flank, but Nista able to shepherd the cross to safety. More danger for Pisa this time. Mancini moving within range, but the shot rising over the bar. Dunga did hit the side netting, but Will 0-0 in the end be enough for Pisa? Their last game is at home to Torino. And Italian Cup finalist Torino are still in good form. Roma's Tancredi saving from Tony Polster. And this was all Torino. Roma lucky to survive this corner. Tancredi very much in the firing line. Tullio Gritti's cross making it difficult again for the goalkeeper. The only surprise was that it took Torino so long to score. The opening goal after 54 minutes. And this time Tancredi was slow to react, and Gritti claimed his 7th goal of the season. Torino then lost concentration, and Rudy Foller away here, using his powerful style to good effect, but hitting the foot of the post. Roma with their tails up now. Colavati up for the corner. Laurieri with an important save. And Torino did strike again with just 2 minutes left. It was a terrific shot, well worth waiting for, from Crippa. Torino 2, Roma 0. Finally to Verona, where their season has fallen apart, and Como took full advantage with their first away win of the season. And what a debt they owe to Salvatore Giunta, scoring for the 4th consecutive game. 4 games which have brought Como 7 points. At the bottom of the table, Empoli definitely relegated. One other club to go down. Avellino are in the worst position. They're away to Inter in their last match. Pisa at home to Torino. And Ascoli are also at home to Cesena. 1 point for Milan away to Como will win the championship, while Napoli must win at home to Sampdoria and hope for a Milan slip-up. So Napoli again failing against Fiorentina on a day when a less heralded Argentinian, Ramon Diaz, took centre stage. And Diego Maradona could only sit and watch it all happen. Genti got a foot in, but it only ran on to Donadoni, and now to Hullet and Virdis, and still Virdis, and still Virdis! Well, really, the celebrations might have started as early as the 2nd minute. Como rather brushed aside here when there were opportunities to clear. The ball ran away from Annoni. Virdis wrong-footed Macopi and then beat Paradisi. A truly dramatic opening, reflecting Milan's absolute determination to win the title. Headed by Pietro Paolo Virdis in only the 2nd minute. And AC Milan and Arrigo Sacchi, barring some sort of incredible drama, 45 minutes away from the title. Como get the 2nd half underway, trailing AC Milan by a single goal. And I'm sure during the half-time break they've been checking as to how their rivals in the relegation battle were doing up and down the country. But let me remind you that to be absolutely safe, Como do need to take a point. Back in January in the San Siro Stadium, they were also trailing 1-0 at half-time and ended up getting beaten by 5. Viviani is in space here, and the offside trap hasn't worked this time. And here comes Junta, and it is 1-1. And Salvatore Junta continues his extraordinary run. Milan with their minds still in the dressing room, really. Viviani rolled it across, and Junta has now scored in 5 consecutive matches. And in the tight environment of the Italian First Division, that really does take some doing. Also, such a stylish side in the 60s when in the European Cup was played in 1963 and 1969. There have been difficult times in the 80s, twice relegated. But the good days are back now. A tribute to Berlusconi at the very top, and everyone connected with the club. The photographer's poised to get the shot, to capture the moment. And it is only a matter of seconds now. Possibly time for a second Como substitution. It's Paolo Annoni replacing Luca Mott. That's taken up a few more seconds. And all eyes on Sergio Copatelli. A race that started in September is very nearly over. Arrigo Sacchi on his feet, ready to take his final bow. They didn't think he would be up to the job, many experts in Italy. How wrong he's proved them. And I think they're waiting, our Italian colleagues, to try and get an interview right on the whistle with Arrigo Sacchi. And that whistle must come soon.
Sacchi che cerchiamo di raggiungere è attorniato da...
And Sergio Copatelli has blown the final whistle. AC Milan are champions of Italy for the 1987-88 season. And the party now can really begin. A party here in Como, and I'm sure 30 miles south as well, where Milan itself will be a city of celebration. For Ruud Gullit, a championship medal in his first season in Italy, and what a part he's played. AC Milan, so dogged in their pursuit of Napoli, and then overtaking last year's champions with that superb win a couple of weeks ago in Naples. They've got better and better as the season has gone on. And now they can enjoy the fruits of their labours. Virdis, who scored here and is their leading marksman again this season. Gullit, very much the leader of their pack.
Siamo in diretta, che emozione le dà questo scudetto? Si vede, no?
Wonderful scenes. Franco Baresi, he was there in 79. There can have been no finer captain. Smiles, joy, the traditional scenes of success. And it has been success for Milan in the sunshine in Como. The record books will show this was a 1-1 draw, but the match hardly mattered. The result certainly did. Well, we start our roundup with Napoli and their final game against Sampdoria. Diego Maradona again injured and confined to the stand. Also missing Bagni, Garella, Giordano and Ferrario, all dropped for criticising the coach Ottavio Bianchi. Bitter recriminations for their failure to retain the title. And yet Napoli were off to an excellent start against Sampdoria, with Andrea Carnevali heading last year's champions into a 7th-minute lead. A lead protected by a dramatic clearance off the line by Renica from Mancini. Napoli so close to extending their lead through Careca. But in this match, just like in their season, Napoli fell apart in the second half. Raffaele Di Fusco, replacing Garella, saved here from Salsano. But on the hour, the reserve goalkeeper was totally beaten by Luca Pellegrini's rasping drive. And there was worse to come for Napoli 3 minutes from time, when defensive slackness let in Gianluca Vialli. Just 1 point from their last 5 games. That's the bare fact of Napoli's collapse. No title for Maradona this time. Ascoli needed at least 1 point from their last game at home to Cesena to be sure of staying in the first division, and Michelli bursting from the back, an encouraging sign. Another flowing Ascoli attack, and at the sharp end of it, Carrillo with a good chance. Well saved, though, by Rossi. Casagrandi's free kick, the next danger to the Cesena goal, but again Rossi came up with the answer. And Ascoli had a number of good opportunities to ease their nerves. Casagrande, again, the centre of attention here, but it's still 0-0. Cesena contenting themselves with a season of consolidation in the first division. One of their few shots from Lorenzo, but 0-0 suited both sides. Empoli already relegated and therefore very relaxed against Pescara, who were still not certain of first division survival. Empoli enjoyed an excellent first half, with Incocciati heading his first goal for the club after 11 minutes. Pescara's claims for a push brushed aside. Pescara responded positively and were unlucky not to draw level. Berlinghieri's diving header bringing the best out of Drago in the Empoli goal. Pescara still pushing forward, thwarted once more by Drago, out bravely this time. But Empoli really took their chances well in the first half, Johnny Ekstrom making it 2-0 after 33 minutes. Empoli really bowing out in style. 3 minutes later, Baldieri brought down by Marchegiani. And Cookie's penalty gave Empoli 3 goals in a game for the first time this season. Almost 4 in the second half when Di Chiara's cross found Baldieri's head. And Empoli's domination such that Drago, who played every game, was substituted to give the loyal reserve Pintauro a short taste of the first division. But it was an unhappy return for Pintauro. Straight away, he brought down Pagano. Gasparini wrapped in the penalty. 3-1 and more to come when Galvani, who scored Pescara's first goal of the season, also chipped in with their last. But at least Empoli said farewell with a win, and they would have been good enough to stay up but for that 5-point penalty. Still on the relegation theme, a dreadful start for second from bottom Avellino at Inter. A goal down after only 4 minutes when Altobelli and Serena combined to give the chance to Minaldo. Avellino, though full of fight, they might have drawn level here. And the equaliser did arrive after 33 minutes. Splendid timing by Gattaneo for his first goal of the season. And it seemed to be going even more Avellino's way when Enzo Schifo was sent off by referee Baldas. Even with 10 men, Inter produced a dangerous attack with Riccardo Ferri's fierce shot tipped over by Di Leo. In the second half, Inter thought they were back in front, but Altobelli's goal was disallowed. But then Avellino's Anastopoulos was also sent off. A disappointing end to the Greek striker's disappointing first season in Italy. A 10-a-side game now, almost going Inter's way. Serena stopped at the very last by Di Leo. But for Avellino, one moment of real frustration. Bertoni's shot looping against the bar, and in their perilous position, Avellino couldn't afford such bad luck. 1-1, at best they could hope for a playoff. Juventus, 7 games unbeaten, were looking to end their mixed season with a flourish at the expense of last week's Napoli conquerors, Fiorentina. Ian Rush just unable to reach Mauro's pass, and it was an anxious spell for Juventus, particularly when Fiorentina broke away to open the scoring. Roberto Bagio is emerging as a fine talent with a lot of flair, and this was a neatly taken goal after 31 minutes. Fortune favoured Fiorentina here. Rush's flick coming out off the post. Still 1-0 to Fiorentina at half-time, and nearly 2-0 here. Baggio again, but Tacconi quickly off his line. But it seemed Juventus must equalise as they mounted a succession of attacks. Brio's volley, not successful. And then agony for Rush again, this time denied by the bar. And you might guess what happened next. Another breakaway. Di Chiara this time, and the player who undid Napoli last week produced another solo extravaganza. All Juventus could manage was a penalty 10 minutes from the end when Mauro was felled by Contrato. De Agostini pulled it back to 2-1, but Fiorentina, who started the season well, has finished it in style. On to Pisa, the last of the 5 clubs which were still in danger at the start of the last match. Lucarelli carrying the fight to Torino. Tullio Gritti looking sharp for Torino. It was an open match, and Pisa struck first. This a vital goal, headed in by Pacenda from Splosa's corner. 1-0 after 8 minutes. Then Laurieri had to charge out to stop Quoggi nipping in for number 2. As for Torino, they threatened in the air. Tony Polster's header pushed aside. In the second half, another aerial attack, but Comey not getting enough power into his effort. That Splosa-Pacenda combination made Pisa safe. Pacenda's second goal of the game with 23 minutes left. Still time for Splosa to rock the Torino crossbar. The cue for celebrations for survival at the final whistle. On came the Pisa fans in jubilation. Finally to Roma and their last match at home to Verona. A stylish farewell to the season and a sad farewell to Roberto Cruzzo, who's moving on to play in Switzerland. Only 1 goal, Bruno Conti's corner, Manfredonia on target. And Conti too took his bow when he was substituted in the second half. Bruno Conti, a World Cup winner in 1982, 47 appearances for Italy in all, 33 years old now, and the end of his 14th season with Roma. And though there are still some negotiations in progress, it does look like a gesture here of goodbye. As for Verona, with only 1 goal in their last 8 games, they'll be very glad to see the end of this season. So let's brush up on the final statistics. Milan champions by 3 clear points. Napoli completely breaking under the strain as they tried to retain their title. Roma third and into the UEFA Cup. So too Sampdoria and Inter down in 5th place. Juventus and Torino level on points. At the bottom it's Avellino, who after 10 years in Division 1 lose their place along with Empoli. Pisa, Ascoli, Pescara and Como surviving that nail-biting finish. 2 clubs going down this year, 4 coming up to extend the league to 18 clubs. And in the B division, still 5 matches left. Bologna leading the way, Atalanta looking like a quick return to a place in the top league. Quite a battle, though, for the other two places. One honour for Napoli. Diego Maradona, top scorer with 15 goals, his clubmate Carreca second. And last year's leading marksman finished joint third, Pietro Paolo Vidic, his 11th and final goal of this campaign, confirming a most memorable season for his club, Milan.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أيها الإخوة والأخوات، أسعد الله مساكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. محمد البكر يحييكم ويرحب بكم ويسره أن ينقل لكم وصفا كاملا لمباراة اليوم، المباراة الختامية لكأس الملك فهد، بطولة القارات على كأس الملك فهد، وبين الدنمارك والأرجنتين. يمثل المنتخب الدنماركي اليوم بيتر كيغار، جاكوب هانسن، مارك ريفرز، جيس هوف، مايكل سكومبرغ، براين ستينليل، مايكل لودروب، براين لودروب، جاكوب لورسن، جيسبر كريستن، بيتر راسموس وموفيندس كروب. أما الأرجنتين يمثل يوسي جوستافو، إيلان فابيان، جاموت أنطونيو، زراتي إتليمار، فابري نستور أريال، أورتيغا أريال، سكوديو إليخاندرو، باتيستوتا، رامبرت باسكوال، جيمنز روين وباسيداس جوستافو. وحكم المباراة علي بودسيم. حلو حلو حلو، تكريم رائع لعلي بودسيم. يعني ما بيحزم التكريم علي بودسيم، يعني اللي شاف قيادته للمباراة السابقة يعرف أن علي بودسيم كان موفقا، خاصة في مباراة بين المنتخبين النيجيري والأرجنتيني. إذا الأرجنتين راح ياخذ يسار السادة المشاهدين، والدنمارك يمين السادة المشاهدين. أحمر الدنمارك، أزرق وأبيض الأرجنتين. إذا حكم المباراة راح يشوف. لو تابعنا أيضا تعليقات الفريق الدنماركي قبل المباراة، ردود وتوقعات الدنماركيين يؤكدون أن المباراة صعبة جدا، وهم يرون أن الأرجنتين أقرب للفوز، مع تأكيد أن لاعبهم سيظهرون بمظهر مختلف لأنهم أمام مباراة قمة، وخصوصا الشقيقين ميكائيل وبراين لودرو. عموما أحد الصحفيين قال أن طموحنا كالدنماركيين أن تنتهي المباراة في وقتها الأصلي والإضافي بالتعادل قبل الاحتكام لركلات الترجيح، وهو شر لا بد من حسب قوله، وهي فيها كل الاحتمالات واردة. بدأ الشوط الأول في اليمين، ياكوب لورسون، يسوب، فريس هانسن ناقلها إلى ياكوب لامبريز إلى أقصى اليسار، وكرة اللعب وتنقطع وترجع مرة ثانية. المنتخب الأرجنتيني سريعة وخطأ لصالح شاموت. خطأ لصالح شاموت ولعبة الكرة سريعة وفي تغطية. يسهوغ يلعبها إلى خارج الملعب. كرة سريعة وطويلة توصل الكرة إلى المنتخب الأرجنتيني شاموت. وشاموت بيحاول يعدي وينقل داخل منطقة الجزاء ولكن إلى خارج الملعب. ضربة مرمى على المباراة الختامية اليوم. ضربة مرمى كرة للخلف. احنا الحقيقة قاعدين نعدل اسماء الفريقين حتى نتمكن من المتابعة. توصل الكرة الى باسيداس الى زانيتي وزانيتي ينقلها الى الخلف. زوبين الى زانيتي في الوسط. متابعة من بيريزو يلعبها ناحية اليسار الى باتستوتا وباتستوتا يلعب ناحية اليسار سريع الان داخل منطقة الجزاء وهجمة مبكرة للمنتخب الارجنتيني ولكن الى خارج الملعب. رمية تماس وهذا شاموت ظهير ايسر وربما يكون احد الثغرات التي يبحث عنها المنتخب الدنماركي بطل اوروبا لان شاموت في اليسار وزانيتي في اليمين كظهيري يميلان دائما للمساندة الهجمات ولهما نزعة هجومية وبالتالي احتمالات وجود ثغرة للدنمارك من خلال هاتين النقطتين او هذين المركزين امر وارد. ضربة حرة غير مباشرة. هذه الإعادة والخطأ الواضح على ميكائيل شومبرغ لصالح سكوديرو. إذا خطأ لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني من منطقة بعيدة جدا. تمرير داخل منطقة الجزاء ولكن تنقطع وترجع مرة ثانية على القوس وسط الملعب لكن إلى خارج الملعب. رمية تماس. جمهور كبير حاضر مباراة اليوم، جمهور كبير وخاصة المباراة الثانية أكثر من 40,000 متفرج يتابعون هذا اللقاء. وهذا اللاعب اللي كان ظاهر معك ميكائيل شومبرغ 27 يلعب إلى نادي أودينيس اللي وصل لربع النهائي بكأس الاتحاد. وخطأ كأس الاتحاد الأوروبي طبعا. خطأ لصالح الدنمارك. وهذا 13 كريستنسن 23 سنة يلعب إلى بروندبي وكرة اللعب إلى اليمين وترجع مرة ثانية للخلف وفريس هانسن يلعبها داخل منطقة الجزاء الأرجنتينية ولكن هناك متابعة من زانيتي إلى خارج الملعب. رمية تماس. ميكائيل شومبرغ يلعبها إلى بريان لودروب إلى أقصى اليمين. توصل الكرة إلى يسهوغ رجع للخلف. محاولة لتمريرات القصيرة لسحب المنتخب النيجيري وانا شايف فيه رقابة لصيقة جدا على 13 كريستنسن و5 دقائق من زمن الشوط الاول ونتيجة تعادل وهذه فرصة ولكن كارلوس بوسيو يحصلها. كارلوس بوسيو حصلها ولعبها. اذا انا شايف انه رقم 13 كريستنسن اللي يلعب في وسط الملعب لبروندبي، مراقب رقابة لصيقة من المنتخب الأرجنتيني. رمية تماس من ياكوب لورسون 23 سنة من سيلكبورغ. لعبة رمية التماس وفي كرة خارج منطقة جزاء المنتخب الدنماركي وتبعد، ولكن لا زال المنتخب الأرجنتيني يحاول ويحتفظ بالكرة. أبرم عليه كرة أمامية إلى باتيستوتا ومحاولة باتيستوتا، ولكن هناك تغطية عليه دائما من مارك ريبر وترجع مرة ثانية لكن إلى خارج الملعب. رمية تماس لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. زينيتي إلى أورتيغا وخطأ لصالح أورتيغا، وهو الشبيه الأقرب لمارادونا من حيث طريقة اللعب وحتى هيكلة الجسم والبنية. هناك خطأ لأورتيغا. هذا هو أورتيغا ظهر أمامكم في الشاشة، وضربة حرة مباشرة للمنتخب الأرجنتيني تنقل إلى اليمين ومحاولة من جديد لأورتيغا، وفي متابعة معه من ستينيلسن، ولكن تقطع توصل إلى لاودروب بريان وتنقطع وترجع مرة ثانية المنتخب الدنماركي ولكن إلى خارج الملعب. رمية تماس وهذا لاودروب، هذا بريان لاودروب 28 سنة يلعب لرينجرز الاسكتلندي. إلى خارج ملعب رمية تماس الآن للمنتخب الدنماركي. ميكايل شومبرغ إلى خارج ملعب رمية تماس مرة أخرى. شومبرغ وسط ملعب يرجعها بالخطأ لاودروب، ولاودروب يخطب وينقل كرة سليمة إلى أقصى اليمين ويتقدم بها الكابتن ضربة جزاء وجرأة جيدة ومطلوبة من حكم الساحة علي بوسيم، وهذه ضربة جزاء إعاقة داخل منطقة الجزاء، وبالتالي ميكايل لاودروب يحصل على ضربة جزاء في الدقيقة 8. وهذا جيسون يبدو هو اللي راح يلعب، لكن في أقرب في كارلوس بوسيو وقت اللعب، وهدف أول من كابتن الفريق ميكايل لاودروب اللي يلعب لريال مدريد الأسباني، 30 سنة عمره، يلعب لريال مدريد الأسباني ويسجل أول هدف في الدقيقة 8 من الشوط الأول، والنتيجة 1-1. إذا بداية ساخنة من الفريقين، وداخل منطقة الجزاء ويحصلها حارس المرمى الدنماركي كروف. و9 دقائق والنتيجة 1-1 للمنتخب الدنماركي، لا شيء المنتخب الأرجنتيني. وتتخلص وتلعب كرة في الأمام، لا زالت للمنتخب الدنماركي، تنقطع ومرتدة، اندفاع من زانيتي لكن تقطع منها وإلى خارج الملعب. رمية تماس. إذا بداية الكرة التي احتسبت كخطأ وكضربة جزاء بدأت من الناحية اليسرى في مركز شاموت الظهير الأيسر، وكما ذكرنا أن شاموت وزانيتي قد يكونان ممرا ممكنا للمنتخب الدنماركي في حالة الجروح للهجوم. لعب باتسوتا ترجع مرة ثانية ولكن تتخلص وترجع مرة ثانية على اليمين. خبرين ينقلها، خلصها عيالة لكن إلى حارس المرمى موغينز كروب. وهذا ميكايل لاودروب لاعب خط الوسط وقائد المنتخب الدنماركي. ووصل الملعب إلى يسهر في اليمين، تنقطع الكرة وترجع مرة ثانية وسط الملعب إلى رامبرت، لكن تطول منه وترجع مرة ثانية. وارتيجا بيحاول يتحرك في أكثر من مكان ويلعبها إلى اليسار ويحاول سكوديرو، لكن في خطأ على لاودروب الأصغر، بريان لاودروب. خطأ لصالح لاودروب، لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني على الدائرة. تنقل ناحية اليسار، لعب ماشي ويعدي لاودروب ناحية اليمين وينقل كرة سليمة، ومحاولة الآن إلى راسموس، بيتر راسموس الواقع على الأرض الآن، وأيالا قطع على أيالا. وهذا بيتر راسموس من 30 سنة يلعب لآلبورغ، يلعب لنادي آلبورغ. وهذه الإعادة للخطأ. ضربة حرة الآن وفي تغطية، ولكن خارج منطقة الجزاء. لا زال المنتخب الدنماركي ولاودروب يعدي وتنقطع الكرة من رامبرت، ورامبرت بيحاول يشوف واحد من زملائه تأخر فيها، يرجعها للخلف إلى زانيتي اللي يحاول يندفع وينقل كرة ناحية باتوستا، لكن أقرب لها حارس المرمى الآن هوجنسكروف. الحارس الاحتياطي طبعا للدنمارك هو بيتر كيار اللي وصل فجر أمس وسيكون احتياطيا. وقد صارت شائعة إلى أن الحارس الأساسي لارسون شمايكل، صارت إشاعة أنه شمايكل الحارس الأساسي لمنتخب الدنمارك هو اللي واصل، لكن بعد اتضح الرؤية اللي وصل هو بيتر كيار الحارس الاحتياطي وليس شمايكل الحارس الأساسي الرئيسي لمنتخب الدنمارك الذي لم يلعب أصلا أو لم يحضر أصلا في هذه البطولة. كرة اللعب وفي خطأ وصافرة، خطأ لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. وهذه هي الإعادة لصالح باتيستوتا عندما شارك مع ياكوب لاورسون. خطأ وضربة حرة للمنتخب الأرجنتيني. يسعى بعد مرور 13 دقيقة المنتخب الأرجنتيني للتعادل، وإن لم يصل بالفعل بصورة المطلوبة لمرمى المنتخب الدنماركي، ولكن ربما من الكرات الثابتة يتمكن من تسجيل التعادل. وهذا باتيستوتا يحاول، ولكن حارس المرمى هوجنسكروف في وقت مناسب. باتيستوتا يلعب كرة ولكن هوجنسكروف في الوقت المناسب يلتقط الكرة. موجل، وهذا باتيستوتا طويلة وتنقطع من زانيتي، وصل من الباسيداس. الآن ما هو بسيداس، هذا سكوديرو. سكوديرو اللي ظهر معك في الشاشة، رمية تماس إن لعبت ولكن تنقطع وترجع مرة ثانية وصل الملعب لزانيتي، وزانيتي لعبها مرة ثانية بالخطأ، تنقطع طويلة جدا. وكان الهدف الأول قد أضعف أو أصاب المنتخب الأرجنتيني بالإحباط ولو في وقت في الدقائق الماضية. رمية تماس ميكائيل شونبيرغ يلعب كرة أمامية وخطأ على لاودروب، وكرة اللعب سريعة من أيالا إلى أقصى اليسار. زينيتي ما يحصلها وتنقطع إلى 6 ميكائيل شونبيرغ وتتمرر إلى 11 بريان لاودروب، ومرة ثانية يحاول تسديدة جيدة من لاودروب، ولكن كارلوس بوسيو في مكان سليم وبالتالي يبعد الكرة. وخطأ لصالح الدنمارك. 15 دقيقة من زمن الشوط الأول ولا زالت النتيجة تقدم الدنمارك بهدف مقابل لا شيء لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. إذن الدنمارك 1 الأرجنتين لا شيء. وهذه إعادة للخطأ عندما اشترك لاودروب وأوقع وحصل على خطأ. لعبت كرة داخل منطقة الجزاء ولكن إلى خارج الملعب. ضربة مرمى لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. بوسيو إلى زانيتي. للخلف أيالا. كرة طويلة وطويلة فعلا لكن في تغطية وترجع مرة ثانية وتتخلص وحارس مرمى يحاول يحصلها إلى ضربة ركنية. إلى ضربة ركنية لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. وهذا أورتيغا. ضربة ركنية المنتخب الأرجنتيني وهو منتخب حامل اللقب وهو حامل كأس الملك فهد للقراءة الأولى وكرة اللعب ولكن تبعد إلى رمية تماس للأرجنتين من جديد. إذا رمية تماس اللعب وترجع مرة ثانية ولكن لا زال المنتخب الأرجنتيني وأورتيغا يفشل في إرسال الكرة في المكان المناسب لزملائه داخل الست ياردات وبالتالي تبعد إلى ضربة. وهذه عادة وأورتيغا عندما اخترق المدافعين وعكس الكرة ولكن التغطية الجيدة أفشلت المحاولات الأرجنتينية في الوقت المناسب. وضربة ركنية للمنتخب الأرجنتيني وأورتيغا ولا مرة أخرى وإبعاد موفق ومحاولة. وشوف اندفاع تراجع الدنماركي واندفاع وراية وتسلل. راية وتسلل. إذا كما ذكرنا يحكم لقاء اليوم الحكم العربي الإماراتي علي بوتسيم يساعد محمد فناني من إيران ومحمد منصري من تونس. في اليمين اللعب مع أورتيغا توصل الكرة ناحية اليمين إلى كابتن الفريق لاودروب يلعبها طويلة ولكن ترجع مرة ثانية تتخلص ولكن في الخلف ناحية بابري إلى زانيتي إلى وسط ملعب جوميز روبن باتسوتا. اندفاع جيدة من سكوديرو راح يلعبها داخل منطقة جزاء سكوديرو ولكن إلى خارج ملعب. رمية تماس وهذا سكوديرو ورمية تماس لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. محاولات متواصلة من المنتخب الأرجنتيني تقابل بكثافة عددية دنماركية وبالتالي المحاولات لا زالت لم تنجح. خطأ لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. إذا استمر الحال على هذا المنوال على هذا الضغط فالأرجنتين مرشحة لتسجيل هدف التعادل. وأورتيغا يهيئ نفسه لنقل الكرة في مكان مناسب وطويلة جدا وبالرأس وتتكمل لكن في تغطية أيضا ومحاولة كشف التسلل المنتخب الدنماركي وتتخلص على أقصى اليسار إلى خارج ملعب. رمية تماس لصالح الدنمارك. وباتسوتا في محاولات متكررة وإن ظهر عليه محاولة الرجوع للخلف خطأ لصالح المنتخب الدنماركي. خطأ لصالح المنتخب الدنماركي ناحية اليسار. لاودروب باتسوتا يقطعها ويحاول باتسوتا لكن أقرب لها حارس المرمى اللي يلعبها إلى ناحية اليمين. سريعة ياكوب لورسون و20 دقيقة وراية وتسلل 20 دقيقة من زمن الشوط الأول والدنمارك متقدم بهدف واحد مقابل لا شيء للأرجنتين. وهذا بيتر سامسون رقم 17 اللي يلعب لألبورغ أيضا عمره 32 سنة. توصل إلى شاموت ذو النزعة الهجومية ولاودروب يقطعها منها. بريان لاودروب إلى خارج مع رمية تماس. رمية تماس مرة أخرى. رمية تماس خطأ لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. رغم أن المنتخب الأرجنتيني يضم نخبة من الشباب إلا أن نستطيع القول أن هذا المنتخب قد نضج مبكرا كفريق عالمي مرموق، حتى وإن كانت النتيجة تقدم الدنمارك وكرة أمامية، لكن حارس المرمى حصلها بهدف مقابل لا شيء. المنتخب الأرجنتيني حتى الآن يفرض احترامه على المشاهد من خلال ما قدم من مباريات ومن خلال ما قدم من جهد في المباريات السابقة. رمية تماس زانيتي يلعب كرة أمامية ولكن تنقطع وترجع مرة ثانية على منطقة جزاء الأرجنتين، لكن زانيتي خلصها. وفي المنتصف محاولة لأورتيغا لكن إلى خارج ملعب. رمية تماس محاولة لأورتيغا، لا نستطيع أن نقول أن يعاب على أورتيغا قصر قامته، فمارادونا هو الآخر قصير ومع ذلك اعتبر أفضل لاعب في العالم حتى السنوات الأخيرة. كرة اللعب لاودروب إلى سكوديرو وكرة مشتركة. توصل الكرة إلى غوميز روبن ولكن إلى خارج ملعب. رمية تماس وهذا زانيتي لعب كرة وترجع مرة ثانية طويلة تتخلص من فابري إلى اليمين سريعة ناحية مكان شاموت كما ذكرنا دائما، ومحاولة لبيتر راسموس وشاموت من جديد يحصلها، وشاموت يحصلها ويلعبها أمامية ولكن تنقطع. وكرة مشتركة الآن للمنتخب الأرجنتيني دون تركيز إلى خارج الملعب. ضربة مرمى المنتخب الأرجنتيني كما ذكرنا استطاع أن يغير من طريقة لعبه أمام الفرق التي لعبها في كل بين وقت وآخر في المباراة، وبالتالي أصبح يمتاز عن الفرق الأخرى بعدم ثبات في الخطة والتعامل مع المباراة. كرة اللعب ناحية رامبر ولكن تنقطع من رامبر وتوصل الكرة إلى اليمين. فريد هانسن، وهذه الإعادة راح نشوفها. هذا طبعا رامبر اللي ظاهر معك في الشاشة، وهذه هي الإعادة لما اشترك وقع على الأرض شاموت يعني يلعب كرة طويلة لكن إلى حارس المرمى. كرة مقصودة، إعادة الكرة مقصودة لحارس المرمى باعتبار أنه منتخب الدنمارك يبعد الكرة ليعطي فرصة لعلاج لاعب الأرجنتيني. فريد هانسن في اليمين، خطأ بيتر راسموس. 25 دقيقة والشوط الأول والنتيجة لا زالت 1 الدنمارك لا شيء الأرجنتين. وضربة حرة مباشرة تلعب ومحاولة من جديد مرتدة للمنتخب الأرجنتيني، وهذا باتسوتا ينتظر واحد من الزملاء يلعبها إلى أقصى اليسار. تيجو يحاول يمرر في وقت مناسب، لكن استقبال غير موفق. بيتر راسموس يخلصها إلى خارج ملعب رمية التماس. رمية التماس لصالح المنتخب. الأرجنتيني ويبدو في تغيير للمنتخب الدنماركي. يبدو كابتن الفريق ميكايل لاودروب يبدو انه مصاب ولن يكمل، فبالتالي راح يلعب معاه او مكانه من المنتخب الدنماركي اللاعب مورتن ويرويس. مورتن، هذا تغيير اجباري، وميكايل لاودروب كان اصيب وبالتالي طلع ونزل مكانه مورتن، وفي خطأ للاودروب اخوه الان صار هو الكابتن. كان اولا الكابتن ميكايل لاودروب وتغير لما اصيب وطلع صار بريان لاودروب، وهو الذي قاد الدنمارك على فكره بالفوز ب5 أهداف على اليابان، عفوا بالفوز في المباراة السابقة. لاودروب هو الذي قاد المنتخب الدنماركي بالفوز على المملكة العربية السعودية بهدفين. كرة اللعب داخل منطقة الجزاء، لكن حارس المرمى كارلوس بوسيو. زانيتي، توقع الجميع أن تكون المباراة أكثر حركة وأكثر خطورة، ولكن حتى الآن محاولات زانيتي لكن خارج ملعب رمية التماس. جيرو لعبها وخطأ، ويبدو سيكون هناك بطاقة على زانيتي. إذا زانيتي بطاقة. متابعة دقيقة وجيدة لحكمنا العربي الموفق بإذن الله دائما علي بوسيم. ميكايل شومبيرغ وكرة داخل منطقة الجزاء وإبعاد على دفعتين يحصلها كارلوس بوسيو. كرة طويلة وإلى حارس المرمى موغنز كروف. جمهور كبير اليوم حاضر مباراة اليوم. ياكوب لارسون وكرة طويلة ولكن في خطأ لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. خطأ لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. هذا باتستوتا وتنقل إلى زينيتي الذي تبدأ دائما من الهجمات في الوسط. باتستوتا ترجع تنقطع من زينيتي، حصلها باتستوتا ناحية أورتيغا، وأورتيغا متقدم يهيئ نفسه ناحية اليسار وتنقل لكن ترجع مرة ثانية تكمل وتنقطع إلى أقصى اليسار ميكايل شومبيرغ. وميكايل شومبيرغ إلى خارج ملعب رمية التماس. إلى خارج ملعب رمية التماس. ايالا لعبها إلى زينيتي. فابري إلى ايالا وكرة طويلة أمامية ولكن إلى حارس المرمى. بالطبع المنتخب الدنماركي سيتأثر بغياب ميكايل لاودروب، لأن مباراة الآن أمام الأرجنتين وتحتاج إلى خبرات وتحتاج إلى إمكانات فنية كالمتوفرة في القيادة لميكايل لاودروب. نص ساعة الآن والنتيجة الدنمارك 1 الأرجنتين لا شيء. كرة سريعة إلى خارج ملعب رمية التماس وكارلوس بوسيو. كارلوس بوسيو طويلة وتعدي وترجع مرة ثانية في اليمين. زانيتي بيحاول يمر ولكن تنقطع منه وتكون مرتدة في مكان زانيتي ومحاول لكن تروح خارج ملعب. رمية تماس يعني مكان زانيتي دائما، وكنت أنا أركز في بداية المباراة على ظهيري المنتخب الأرجنتيني شاموت وزانيتي، وتقدمهم دائما يتأخر سكوديرو وباسيداس في التغطية. سكوديرو ترجع مرة ثانية إلى زانيتي متقدم إلى سكوديرو إلى اليمين داخل منطقة الجزاء. كرة مشتركة ولكن شاموت ما يحصلها لما اشترك باسيداس، لكن تروح خارج ملعب. ضربة ركنية لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. ضربة ركنية المنتخب الأرجنتيني داخل منطقة الجزاء، وكرة مشتركة إلى رمية تماس. وشوف قلب المدافعين أيالا قائد المنتخب الأرجنتين متقدم في محاولة للاشتراك وتسجيل هدف، وهدف باسيداس. رامبيرت تتخلص منه إلى خارج ملعب. رمية تماس لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. معظم الكرات لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني أخطاء أو رمية تماس أو ضربات ركنية وكرة داخل منطقة الجزاء، ولكن تتخلص من أمام باسيداس إلى ضربة ركنية من فريس هانسن اللي ظهر معك في الشاشة. ضربة ركنية. أورتيغا يلعب كرة داخل منطقة الجزاء ولكن تنقطع وترجع مرة ثانية. محاولة كرة مشتركة من بيتر راسموس لكن تنقطع من أمامه إلى باتستوتا، وباتستوتا بيحاول يعدي وتنقطع من أمام باتستوتا وتروح مرة ثانية ناحية اليمين. يمررها سريعة مورتن لكن إلى خارج الملعب. غبار جدا اليوم، من الساعة 5 تقريبا تغير الطقس وأصبح طقس مغبر وبارد، هبطت درجات حرارة، وكرة اللعب إلى وسط الملعب. سريع رامبرت محاولة الآن للتسديد من خارج منطقة الجزاء لكن مررها إلى باتستوتا، وباتستوتا على القوس بيهيئ نفسه ولكن في أكثر من لاعب معاه، في تغطية عليه وتروح خارج الملعب. رمية تماس للدنمارك، رمية تماس، وهذا رامبرت اللي لعب كرة قوية ولكن صدمت في تغطية عليه وراحت أبعدت من قبل المدافعين الدنماركيين، وراحت رمية تماس للمنتخب الدنماركي. رمية تماس أخرى باسيداس إلى باتستوتا. باسيداس تلعب تتخلص من ستينيالسن، ترجع مرة ثانية إلى اليسار وتغطية من فريس هانسن إلى خارج الملعب. رمية تماس أخرى للأرجنتين. رمية تماس للأرجنتين إلى خارج الملعب. رمية تماس أخرى، والمنتخب الدنماركي الذي أوضح طموحه من خلال لاعبيه وإداريه أن طموحه هي التعادل وسحب المنتخب الأرجنتيني لركلات الترجيح. 35 دقيقة وباقي 10 دقائق والنتيجة. أعزائنا في المملكة العربية السعودية وفي كل مكان لا زالت تقدم الدنمارك بهدف واحد من ضربة جزاء مقابل لا شيء للأرجنتين. رمية تماس. أبطال أوروبا الدنمارك، وسميوا أيضا أبطال الغفلة، وهل يكونون الآن في هذه البطولة أيضا أبطال الغفلة؟ كل شيء وارد في كرة القدم وكرة اللعب. داخل منطقة الجزاء لكن تبعد، وجميلة المنتخب الدنماركي، ولكن في تغطية إلى حارس المرمى كارلوس باسيو، إلى حارس مرمى كارلوس باسيو، وتنقطع ناحية اليمين. كرة سريعة إلى لاودروب، ولاودروب بيحاول يعدي لاودروب، ويمر الكرة سليمة ليسهوك، ويسهوك إلى لاودروب ويعدي، وفي خطأ، ويبدو في بطاقة أيضا على شاموت، في بطاقة على شاموت. في بطاقة على شاموت. هذه الإعادة لما عاق لاودروب إعاقة عنيفة الحقيقة تستحق البطاقة الصفراء التي أشهرها الحكم العربي علي بوسيم. إذا ضربة حرة ومكان خطر وإمكانية متوفرة من خلال هذه الضربة للمنتخب الدنماركي قبل 9 دقائق من شوط المباراة الأول. كريستنسن، يبدو كريستنسن، وفعلا كريستنسن إلى خارج الملعب. لعبها كريستنسن اللي ظاهر معك في الشاشة، وهذه هي المقصورة الرئيسية. صاحب سمو الملك الأمير سلطان فهد وضيوف الكرام، وهذه الإعادة لكريستنسن اللي لعبها، اللي يلعب لبرودبي. كرة تتمرر وسريعة مرة ثانية لكريستنسن على القوس داخل منطقة الجزاء، ومحاولة من جديد ولكن تبعد، ومرتدة للمنتخب الأرجنتيني الذي لم يبادر حتى الآن، لم يأخذ زمام المبادرة بتنظيم هجمات صحيحة على المرمى الدنماركي. كل الكرات محاولات للوصول، لكن لم نرى فرصة حقيقية تنفذ أو ترسم أو تخطط من منتصف الملعب للمرمى الدنماركي. كرة عالية أمامية، لا زال الحماس الدنماركي يرجح كفة الدنمارك نتيجة، وخطأ لصالح الأرجنتين. لعبت ترجع مرة ثانية، محاولة أورتيغا داخل منطقة الجزاء، أورتيغا لكن في تغطية عليه، أورتيغا وفي تغطية عليه. يعني المنتخب الدنماركي قادر يلعب ب6 لاعبين في الخلف في حالة استحواذ الأرجنتيني على الكرة، وهذا يسكر جميع المنافذ المؤدية للمرمى. توصل كرة للمنتخب الأرجنتيني، زينتي، وزينتي بادي هجمة، وزينتي داخل المرمى، يحصلها موغنز كروف، يحصلها موغنز كروف، وهذا مدرب الفريق الدنماركي نيلسن. ترجع مرة ثانية، سكوديرو يلعبها سريعة إلى حارس المرمى، بعيدة على رامبرت، وهذه حصلها موغنز كروف. وهذا اللاعب 17 بيتر راسموس متحرك دائما في المقدمة. رمية تماس، كرة طويلة أمامية. 40 دقيقة وبقي 5 دقائق فقط، والنتيجة لا زالت 1 الدنمارك لا شيء الأرجنتين. وسط ملعب، سكوديرو تنقطع من أمامه وترجع سريعة، ولكن مرة ثانية حصلها فعلا ما تطلع، وخطأ لصالح ميكائيل شونبرغ على لامبرت. وهذا ميكائيل شونبرغ، هذه الإعادة لما رامبرت اندفع عليه وخطأ عليه رامبرت. إلى أقصى اليمين ياكوب لورسن، وجميلة وتوصل الكرة وسط الملعب. لا زال المنتخب الدنماركي، خطأ لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. لعبة زانيتي، خطأ لصالح أورتيغا. راح يعطي بطاقة إذن على 13 كريستنسن. 13 كريستنسن بطاقة، وكرة أمامية داخل منطقة الجزاء، ومحاولة لكن دون تركيز إلى خارج الملعب. كريستنسن رقم 13 إذا نال البطاقة الصفراء. جاسبر كريستنسن 23 سنة، يلعب بفرونكبي. هذه الإعادة لما باسيداس لعب كرة ورجع مرة ثانية رامبرت دون تركيز إلى خارج الملعب، لعبها. أورتيغا يعدي، ورمية تماس لصالح الأرجنتين. داخل منطقة الجزاء بمر باسيداس إلى ضربة ركنية، لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. أورتيغا ونقلة داخل منطقة الجزاء، ولكن إكمال غير موفق إلى خارج الملعب، ضربة مرمى. وهذا رامبرت. هذا رامبرت لاعب الخط الوسط، مهاجم. وحتى شوف لو شفنا الدنماركيين يعني حتى الثلاثي اللي المفروض انهم يلعبون كمهاجمين، يعني الفريق الدنماركي للنقاد الرياضيين العالميين لا يوجد مهاجم. المهاجم الوحيد هو يوهانسن، وهو على مقاعد الاحتياطيين، يعني ما هو حتى ما هو موجود. يعني الفريق الدنماركي يلعب بلاعب خط وسط متقدمين مثل بارين لاودروب، وكذلك اللي يغير دائما مع بيتر راسموسن الرقم 17، وايضا ميكائيل لاودروب اللي طلع. هذول لاعبي خط وسط لهم نزعه هجوميه، لكن ليسوا مهاجمين. المنتخب الدنماركي هذه هي ممكن نقول من صفاته انه لا يلعب او لا يعتمد على مهاجمين، فقط عنده يوهانسن وكما ذكرت قرن كرة اللعب. وخطأ للمنتخب الارجنتيني. وهذه الاعاده لباسيداس، وكرة اللعب، لكن إعادة للخطأ. إذا ضربة حرة مباشرة، ضربة حرة لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني، وضربة حرة مباشرة خطرة لصالح المنتخب الأرجنتيني. وراح اللعب وفي الحائط، وفي محاولة كشف التسلل الآن ناحية اليمين، ويشترك حارس المرمى. وخطأ لصالح المنتخب الدنماركي. والوقت الأصلي انتهى. وهذه الإعادة وهذا الخطأ والوقت البدل الضائع عند حكم المباراة. خطأ أيضا. لصالح المنتخب الدنماركي. تلعب إلى 14. مارتن تنقطع منها وتروح مرة ثانية أيضا للمنتخب الدنماركي. سريعة ترجع في الوسط إلى كريستنسن وقريب منها أيالا قائد الفريق إلى أورتيغا ومغطي معاه تيم يوسن. أورتيغا لازم يوصل الكرة وأيضا في تغطية دائما مع مرتدة المنتخب الدنماركي. مرتدة المنتخب الدنماركي وهي ناحية اليمين وتنقطع وخطأ. ضربة حرة مباشرة لصالح المنتخب الدنماركي. وهذه إعادة عندما أعيق لاودروب عن طريق أيالا كابتن الفريق وكرة اللعب ودخمة الجزاء ولكن لازم تعاد. حكم المباراة مصفر. راح نشوف ويتفاهم مع زانيتي وإعادة للخطأ. إعادة للخطأ وهذا زانيتي. خطأ للكرة اللعب بإذن الحكم. مصافرة من الحكم ولكن تنقطع وترجع مرة ثانية. لما الحكم يقول لازم أصفر معناته ما يستأنف اللعب إلا بعد صافرته. بعد صافرته أحيانا ممكن الحكم ما يقول صفر الآن. حكم المباراة الأماراتي العربي علي بن سيم. إلى أن ألقاكم بإذن الله في شوط المباراة الثانية أيها الإخوة والأخوات. أستودعكم الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. لعبت من امام بيتر راسموسن. هذه الاعاده لبيتر راسموسن وباشتراك حارس المرمى كارلوس بوسيو. وحارس المرمى اشترك معاه شايف انا راسموسن واقع يتلقى العلاج اذا كان اصابته خفيفه. اصابته خفيفه راح يستأنف اللعب. راح يستأنف اللعب. واحد صفر اذن. وهذه هي الكباين اللي احنا نعلق منها. هذه الكباين اللي احنا نعلق منها في صالة الملك فهد الدولي. كرة اللعب ناحية اليمين سريعة طبعا تتحصل ما تطلع. توصل الى كارلوس بوسيو. اليوم طبعا يحضر لقاء اليوم اللقاء الختامي صاحب سمو الملكي امير السلطان بن فهد بن عبد العزيز نائب رئيس العام وعد الشباب نائب رئيس الاتحاد السعودي لكرة القدم نائب رئيس لجنة المنظمة العليا للبطولة. ايضا ضيف البطولة سعادة الشيخ محمد بن عيد آل ثاني ضيف المملكة العربية السعودية رئيس الهيئة العامة للشباب والرياضة بدولة قطر الشقيقة. وايضا صاحب السمو الملكي سلطان احمد شاه رئيس الاتحاد الاسيوي لكرة القدم والشيخ خالد بن خليفة نائب رئيس اتحاد البحرين لكرة القدم رؤساء الاتحادات القارية كلهم ضيوف البطولة وضيوف المملكة العربية السعودية. فأهلا وسهلا بهم في الرياض العاصمة السعودية. كرة اللعب وسط الملعب إلى حارس المرمى كارلوس. وكرة طويلة سريعة من بيتر راسموسن.